Imagine two people. One proudly buys a $500,000 house with a mortgage. The other rents a nearly identical house for $2,200 a month and invests the money they save. 30 years later, one has a paid-off home worth over $1 million. The other has an investment portfolio worth even more. So, who actually became richer? For decades, we've been told renting is throwing money away. But what if that's only half the story? Because depending on where you live, buying a house could be the best financial decision you'll ever make, or the biggest mistake of your life. Let's break down the numbers.
Chapter 1: Why Everyone Wants to Buy. Owning a home has always been part of the American dream. A backyard, a place your kids grow up, no landlord increasing your rent, and eventually, no monthly mortgage payment. Historically, home prices in the US have risen by roughly 3 to 5% per year over the long term, although this varies widely by location and market cycle. That sounds amazing. Buy a house, wait, become wealthier. Simple, right? Not exactly, because when people calculate the cost of owning a home, they usually forget almost everything except the mortgage.
Chapter 2: The hidden costs nobody talks about. Let's imagine you buy a $500,000 home with 20% down. Your mortgage isn't your only expense. You'll also pay property taxes, homeowners insurance, maintenance and repairs, HOA fees in some neighborhoods, lawn care, appliances that suddenly stop working, roof replacements, plumbing issues, water heater failures. A common rule of thumb is to budget around 1% of the home's value each year for maintenance. For a $500,000 home, that's about $5,000 every year. Even after your mortgage is gone, these expenses never disappear. Homeownership builds wealth, but it also comes with ongoing costs. Chapter 3: Is renting really throwing money away? Now, let's meet Sarah. Instead of buying, she rents. Her rent is lower than the monthly cost of owning a similar home. Instead of spending tens of thousands on maintenance, taxes, and a larger down payment, she invests the difference every month into a low-cost index fund. If those investments earn around 8 to 10% annually over the long term, compounding can become incredibly powerful. After 30 years, she may have accumulated hundreds of thousands, or even over $1 million, depending on how much she consistently invested. Meanwhile, she never had to replace a roof, never worried about a broken furnace, and could move easily for a better job. Renting isn't automatically wasting money. Sometimes it buys flexibility. Chapter 4: When Buying Wins. Now, let's look at Michael. He buys his home. He stays there for 25 years. His neighborhood grows, home values rise. He gradually pays down his mortgage while the home's value increases. By retirement, he owns a valuable asset outright. His housing payment is dramatically lower than someone still renting. He also benefited from forced savings. Every mortgage payment increased his ownership in the home. For many people, buying works because it forces them to build wealth consistently, not because housing always beats investing. Chapter 5: The Biggest Mistake. The biggest mistake isn't renting, and it isn't buying. The biggest mistake is stretching your budget just to own a house. If buying leaves you with no emergency fund, no retirement savings, and constant financial stress, that dream house can quickly become a financial nightmare. A home should improve your life, not control it. Chapter 6: The Power of Opportunity Cost. Here's something most people never think about. It's called opportunity cost. Let's say you buy a $500,000 home with a 20% down payment. That's $100,000 tied up in the house from day one. Now imagine that same $100,000 was invested in a diversified stock market index fund, earning an average 10% annual return. After 30 years, it could grow to more than $1.7 million if left invested. Of course, that's not an argument against buying, because homeowners also benefit from home appreciation and building equity. The point is this: every dollar you put into a house is a dollar that can't be invested somewhere else. The smartest financial decision isn't asking, should I buy? It's asking, where will my money work hardest for me? Sometimes that's real estate, sometimes it's the stock market, and sometimes it's a combination of both.
Chapter 7: The simple rule that can save you thousands. So before you sign a lease or buy your dream home, ask yourself these 5 questions. First, will I stay here for at least 5 to 7 years? If not, buying may not make sense after closing costs and selling expenses. Second, can I comfortably afford the monthly payment without sacrificing retirement savings? If the answer is no, the house is probably too expensive. Third, do I have an emergency fund for unexpected repairs? Because roofs, air conditioners, and plumbing systems don't care about your budget. Fourth, if I rent instead, will I actually invest the money I save? Because renting only wins financially if you invest the difference. And finally, am I buying this house because it fits my financial plan, or because I'm trying to keep up with everyone else? The best financial decisions are rarely emotional. They're intentional. Because in the end, the goal isn't just to own a house. The goal is to build a life where money gives you freedom, not stress. And that's what truly creates wealth.
Conclusion. So, should you rent or should you buy? The answer isn't the same for everyone. Buying makes sense if you plan to stay for several years, you can comfortably afford the monthly costs, you have an emergency fund, you're also investing for retirement. Renting makes sense if you value flexibility. Home prices are extremely high relative to rent. You're disciplined enough to invest the money you save. You're likely to move within a few years. Here's the truth. A house is both a place to live and a financial decision. The smartest choice isn't the one society expects. It's the one that fits your income, your goals, and your future. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more videos that explain money using real numbers, not myths, subscribe to FundRadar. Because understanding money isn't about earning more. It's about making smarter decisions with what you already have.